Greetings, unsettled souls. Sam I.B. to Gangi doing political commentary for the Media Speaks. I'm a writer at the Conservative Daily Post as well as The Lasting News. Also in demand passing time. Friends, welcome aboard. Costelle's got it looking great on here. Now, those of you watching me here, you're only hearing me though because Costelle forgot you. She didn't remember your volume at all. She didn't. But you guys, she loves you guys. She remembered you guys. Got it focused. So you know why? It's because not enough people watch on the Media Speak. So she's like, to hell with them. All right, no, really, I'm kidding. Friends, thanks for tuning in. We're going to get straight into the news here. Putin, if Putin ever invites you to dinner for some borscht and vodka, maybe, kind of want to turn that one down. How many of you know about Litvinenko? The man who Vladimir Putin had poisoned with polonium. Peter Piper picked a peck of pepper's Putin's. He had Litvinenko poisoned with radioactive plutonium. That is one of the worst deaths that you can possibly imagine. It's your body cooking like it's in a microwave oven, but from the inside out through a radioactive poisoning. It's one of the worst ways to go. And because you can't see it, smell it, taste it, they use it for poisons quite often. Never mind, of course, the person doing the autopsy is going to get juiced because they don't know they're looking for polonium. Everybody that comes in contact with that body is going to be in danger, but who cares? This here, yahoonews.com. And again, if you're a Putin worshiper, then I don't know, there's something wrong with you. I don't think that Obama's done him right. I don't think we need to have weapons on his border, but he's definitely not a good man. For one thing, good men don't do this. A Russian opposition politician, much like Litvinenko, who fell into a coma due to poisoning this morning, has left the country for treatment abroad after his condition improved, his lawyer said Sunday. Now, how many of you have seen the movie Silkwood? If you have, you realize, even though that Meryl Streep in real life is a nutcase, Silkwood was a hero. And you'll realize rather quickly that these poisons don't leave the body. So he's recovering now. But the amount of health problems that this person is going to face for the rest of their life because of what Putin did to him is nothing short of dastardly. There's no other word for it. This morning, Vladimir Karamurza flew out of the country to go through rehabilitation treatment after his second acute poisoning. Lawyer Vadim Prohovorov wrote on his Facebook page. Now, I write for a number of places. Nobody seemed interested in this story when the first poisoning happened. I didn't bother to submit it a second time, but I respectfully disagree. I'm leading my show with this here. He's poisoned the man twice. And again, it's very hard to prove anything in Russia because, of course, he is ex-KGB. He knows how to cover his tracks. He knows how to play the system. The diagnosis in this hospital discharge report is still the same. Toxic influence of an unknown substance he had. Probably polonium. Karamurza, 35, previously experienced sharp deterioration of health due to poisoning 2 years ago, which included kidney failure, and it nearly killed him. Tests in laboratories abroad found high levels of heavy metal in his blood. But the Russian investigative committee denied his request to probe whether he was the target of intentional poisoning. So yeah, the Russian investigative committee is useless. We think our president may have poisoned somebody, but we're not going to check. His family said the latest collapse, which saw him on a ventilator and renal dialysis, that's kidney failure, friends, and a Russian hospital could be the result of the 2015 incident. So it might not be another poisoning. He currently worked with the Open Russian Foundation with Mikhail Kordovsky, a former oil tycoon who served 10 years in jail after opposing Vladimir Putin. So let's remember, if you oppose Vladimir Putin, you go to jail. Okay, this is the way that he's running the quote-unquote democracy. So just because he was Obama's enemy and Obama was an idiot doesn't mean that Vladimir Putin is a good man. It frightens me when people say that. This is not somebody you're going to want to have a beer with, unless, of course, you'd like to be glowing afterwards. I hear, like, for St. Patrick's Day, his beer glows green, even without food coloring. You've never seen, you should say, it puts people in the hospital, your kidneys glow. It's insane. It's like the Putin cocktail. Besides his work with Khodorkovsky, whose name I just killed, Kara Mirza has been deeply involved in lobbying in the U.S. for the expansion of the Magnitsky Act, which Prokhorov said could be one of the reasons for the poisoning because it targets Russian elites. Well, Russian elites seem to be doing a pretty damn good job of targeting everyone else, I would say. Moving on, check out this, friends. Iran to dump the U.S. dollar in response to Trump's travel ban. Now, there's a lot of people that are terrified. What are we going to do when all these nations drop the dollar? We know that it's one of the primary reasons that America brought down Libya was because Gaddafi wanted to move the Libyan people onto a gold standard, which was his right to do. I'm not saying he was a good man either, but he didn't deserve what he got. And he said what would happen to Libya when he died, and you know what? He was right. That's why you should listen to people when they're right, because when you don't, you end up with a hellhole like Libya. Again, not a person you'd want to have a beer with. Probably wouldn't be poisoned, but might be your last beer. Gaddafi was known to be someone who was very dictatorial, but at the same time, he was very good at keeping peace in his country. He could drive down the road in a limousine. Donald Trump or Obama, nobody else would dare do that. The last president I've ever seen walk down a parade was H.W. Bush when he was president. So that brings us up to date on this here with Iran saying they're going to get rid of our dollar. Well, it doesn't scare me so much. Because if the dollar was to crash, because of some horrible, let's say all these nations get together and dump the dollar, then what's going to happen is America is going to start relying on America. You do realize that as little as 50 or 100 years ago, America made it just fine with their own money, building their own things. America's sort of gone down the crapper ever since we've gotten away from that. Now, the bad news is you're not going to be able to fix this problem overnight. So life would probably suck for me and people listening to this for the next 10 years or so if there was a mass drop of the dollar. But the long-term prospectus on this would be actually really good because America, again, would rely on America. And it would take another 50 or 100 years before somebody thought that outsourcing was a good idea because we all know that history repeats itself because people don't read history anymore. And if they do, they misapply it, so it's even worse. RT, Tehran plans to ditch the use of the American currency in financial reporting after U.S. President Donald Trump issued a travel ban on 7 countries, including Iran. Well, that happens when you chant death to America. We tend not to want you in America. I know it's closed-minded. It's terrible. According to the local news agency, Press TV, the central bank of Iran is seeking to replace the dollar with a new common foreign currency or use a basket of currencies in an official financial and foreign exchange reports. Well, there's nothing that would keep America from using a basket of currencies either. And with the amount of leverage we have in the world, people say, hey, America, we're not going to use your dollar anymore. We're going to say, okay, Iran, you're not going to use our money anymore, so we won't quit sending it to you. Oh, you don't want to use American money? Then we won't buy oil from you. We will go back to drilling our own oil, and you can lose all of the American money that you don't want. China, do you want to do the same thing? That's fine. You've got all of our plants, but you know what? We'll just call the businesses home. We'll call all ships to port. You can go to hell, and we'll make our own iPhone. And then once we get the market back, you'll be out of it for 50 years. So go ahead and do that. You'll regret it. The governor of Viola Sif has said it would come into force with the new financial year on March 21st, 2017. The agency quotes Saif recommending using currencies with a high degree of stability. Well, that's not going to be the BRICS nation, so good luck with that. The decision comes after President Trump temporarily banned citizens from Iran, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Samaria, Yemen, and Syria from entering the U.S. After Trump's election, the Iranian rial saw record lows against the dollar on December 27th. It plunged to an all-time low of 41,600 rials to the dollar. The head of the central bank of the U.S. did not have a significant role in the Iranian trade and could be replaced with currencies of Iran's key partners like the European Union, China, and the Arab Emirates. The European Union is falling faster than the last in excess, CD. It is going on. If you're trusting the European Union, you do realize Greece has died and they just don't know it. They're on life support. They're going to be leaving the European Union. Britain just ran from the European Union. Things are looking awful wobbly in Germany and Spain. They're going to trust the European Union as their life preserver. I hope you know how to swim in a turban. I hear it can be quite cumbersome. Breitbart. Hilary Clinton declares future is female. I love that. Not future is of American. Not future is all of us together. No, it's divide. It's women. I've got a really good friend of mine who the only thing she ever talks about is what race or sex somebody is. And when Trump picked the Hispanic gentleman for the labor secretary, I talked to this person about it. And she said, well, it's not that all I care about is race, but there's more than white America. See, white people aren't worried about white people. White people are worried about making all of America good. Now think about this. On one hand, we've got minorities saying that not enough minorities own business and that they all work for a greedy white guy. Well, if that's the case, then wouldn't you want greedy white guy to do well so that he can pay you enough that you can open up your own business and be greedy Joe whatever you are, as if your race matters, but we'll go with it. Wouldn't you want to make as much money off greedy white dude as you can so that you can open up your own business? I'm just saying. Now, if you are a greedy white guy, aren't you going to want your business to be as successful as you can so that you can attract the best people? Do you really think that when Bill Gates owned Microsoft, he cared about what color the programmer was? Because he didn't. Do you think a truck driving company cares about what color the truck driver is? Because they don't. Do you not drink on the job? Can you meet a deadline? Can you not kill your dispatcher? Good, you're hired. This is ridiculous. It's being talked about as if it was real. And Hilary Clinton is part of this problem. That's why she didn't win. And they refused to see it. She lost because she's a woman. No, she lost because she's an idiot. Hilary Clinton recorded a message for the women's rights campaign group Makers, in which she praised the amazing energy of January's anti-Trump Women's March while declaring that the future is female. Never mind the fact that the most strong-willed female that I've seen stood up and said the Lord's Prayer. Her name was Melania Trump, and she didn't care because she was a strong female that stood up for what she believed in. Oh, but that doesn't count, does it? Because she was female. Now, if she should have stood up and read the Quran, should have been considered the second coming. Despite all the challenges we face, I remain convinced, yes, the future is female. I just look at the amazing energy we saw as women organized a march that galvanized millions of people all over the country and across the world, she said. Yeah, galvanized. Didn't bring them together. So maybe if the future is female, maybe it's Sarah Palin. How about that, maybe? That could be an option. She's female, or she doesn't count, right? Because she didn't wear a pink hat and talk badly about the president. The Women's March, which took place the day after Donald Trump's inauguration, saw thousands of activists take to the streets. Of course, we know that. So please set an example, she says. For every woman and girl out there, of course, little boys and young men don't matter. who are worried about what the future holds, because we all know that men don't care what the future holds, and wonder about their rights, because we all know men don't care about their rights, opportunities, and values. You know, because white men don't have any values, and that which they do value, they don't care about it like women do. It's fine. Burn the house down. We don't care. Remember, you are the heroes, the history makers, the glass ceiling breakers, the future, she said. Yeah, you know, because, hey, maybe you're a black man that created something. Well, guess what? Now you suck as bad as Whitey does. Why? Because you don't have a vagina. But that's not what she said. It's what she said. I didn't hear her saying minorities and women. So now we're going to divide the minorities and the women. It used to be the minorities and women were in one group. Do you see how they work? Do you see it? Because I don't know how to make it more clear than that, friends, if you don't. Moving on, and brought to you by Change Transportation. If you're going to call Uber, do yourself a favor. Don't call. Just don't call. Don't call them. Call Change Transportation. Tell Kenny that you're a listener of the correct views, and you're going to get a 5% discount. This is 5%. We had to change it. Some bonehead called him and said that the correct views said it was a 50% discount. Well, we laughed. We know better. Now you blew it. If he was having a good day, you know, it was, nope, you blew it. So it's 5% discount when you say you listen to the correct views. And he does price matching as well. So if it comes out to more than 5%, let him know what you found it for. Kenny's a good guy. Guys, everlastingnews.com. Boy Scouts of America will accept transgender children. Now, I don't mind there being a transgender scouting group. But the Boy Scouts need to consist of people with a penis. And the Girl Scouts need to consist of people without a penis. And if that makes me a terrible person, then welcome to the correct views, because I'm not going to censor myself. Your gender is driven by your biology, not your mind. The decision marks a major victory for the LGBT community in the midst of national debate. Yeah, you know why? Because the LGBT community just told everybody, hey, you know, we're not intelligent enough to make our own group. We always tell people that we're just as good as you are. Well, I think you are. I really do. I've got a whole lot of friends that are not straight, but I'll tell you this. They're smart enough to open up their own scouting group without trying to leech on to someone else's. I'm sorry. At a very young age, we do not need to be worrying about transgender issues with a bunch of confused children. And if that makes me a terrible person, then go ahead and sign me up for the Terrible Person newsletter. It happens. Over the past few years, the Boy Scouts of America organization has undergone a seismic change in terms of their treatment of the alphabet soup community. On Monday, the community scored another victory. I like how they worded this here. Yeah, victory, all right. As the organization announced that they will now accept transgender children who identify as male into their scouting programs. So, you know, little Betty feels like she's a guy that day. Now, this is going to be great the first time, because you got to remember, we've got competing cultures here now. You've got the hip hop or top 40 culture out there saying it's great to see how often you can get laid. Costello and I went to bowling today, and there were people beside us. I don't care. You get rowdy. It's a bowling alley, and I'm not offended. But they were saying on and on and on. Who was better, Rihanna or Chris Brown? You know what it became down to? How much? Which one had more money? Which I thought was hilarious. So you've got these little battles going on here. They were talking about who got to sleep with Rihanna first. And at no point were they ever talking about the music, which I thought was hilarious. It was like Chris Brown can dance. I guess he can. It looks like a crab to me. But anyway, you have this whole dichotomy going on here where it says, hey, little boys, it's cool to get down a girl's pants. You know, just go ahead and do it. Now, the first time that they go ahead and do it with the girl that thinks that she's a guy, it's going to be a mess. And it's going to happen. That kid's like 12 or 13. He doesn't know what he's doing. So he puts the moves on a girl that thinks that he's a guy. That's going to mess with her more than she was messed with in the head before she joined. This is not going to help her. It's going to hurt her. It's also going to confuse the living hell out of the little boy. That's why this doesn't work. Sam hates gay people. I don't care where you put it or where you stick it. I could care less. That's between you and God. Lord knows I'm not a sexually moral saint. I am straight, but I'm definitely not a saint. I don't care what you do, but this is children we're talking about. And confused little Julie is going to mess up the entire mindset of the idea of boys getting together and being boys. The Boy Scouts of America, I'm dying of thirst, previously only allowed enrollment of boys, which, it's Boy Scouts, God forbid, into their programs based on the gender listed on the child's birth certificate, like biology. Now parents can list their gender of their child identities on applications and be accepted into programs on the basis of how they feel. This is a major coup for transgender children who are discriminated against by the organization. No, they're not discriminated against. I hate when people say that. It's not discriminatory to point out a fact. And the fact is that if you don't have a schmeckle, then you're not a boy. If you do have a schmeckle, then you're not a girl. Okay? And everybody else, I'm sorry. Stick it where you want to stick it, but it doesn't change what sex you are. Guys, you all know I'm not a fan of Azealia Banks, but this is hilarious because you all know that I hate Rihanna. And it's driving me crazy. I don't want her dead before somebody goes off the deep end with the word hate. I just want her to never be on TV again or make music. She's going to be in the Bates Motel, which is my favorite TV show. Not that I spend much time watching TV, but I like it very much. I'm hoping for one thing. I'm hoping that the bloodiest death scene that anybody has ever seen happens to Rihanna on this. I will be so happy. Because I don't really want her to die. Oh, thank you. But the idea of her being hacked to pieces and blood going in all directions, enough to make Dexter vomit, would be kind of cool when it's Rihanna. Pardon me. Hey, no teleprompter. I'm dying of thirst. You're damn straight. I slurped it. Breitbart.com, an online feud between pop stars Rihanna and Azealia Banks. Both terrible music, by the way. Over President Donald Trump's executive order on refugees ended with Banks posting Rihanna's phone number on the internet. Now, Azealia Banks can sometimes have some views that aren't as bad as her music. She's not brain dead. She's not necessarily a raging libertarian, but she's at least a thinking political person. I'm going to draw the line there. I'm not going to give her great praise, but she's not an idiot. How's that? Amid the left-wing furor over Trump's executive order, which temporarily halts immigration from 7 countries with high terror threats while the refugee vetting process is being reviewed, Rihanna tweeted her disgust with Trump's executive action, describing Trump as an immoral pig. Disgusted, the news is devastating. America is being ruined before our eyes. Yeah, because the people that Trump is banning would kill you for being a whore in their religion. And again, I don't like Rihanna, but I don't think she needs to be killed for being a whore. I don't think she needs to be praised for it, but I don't think she can be whatever she wants to be. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not a conservative. I'm a libertarian. I really don't care. She's overplayed and her music sucks. Her sexuality does not bother me. In response, Banks also endorsed Trump's campaign, wrote on Instagram, as far as Rihanna, who isn't a citizen and can't vote, and all the rest of the celebrities who are using their influence to stir the public, you lot really, really need to shut up and sit down. Stop chastising the president. It's stupid and pathetic to watch. All of these confused people confuse our other confused people. Way to go, Banks. Home run. Good job. Rihanna then responded to Banks by making a reference to a video in which Banks was heard saying she sacrificed chickens as part of a personal ritual. That is true. Rihanna also posted a range of hashtags such as stay away from the chickens, as well as screenshots. So blah, 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 blah. She put her phone number on. Who would call Rihanna? You might end up hearing that voice, and that'd be enough to make me want to kill myself. Friends! The DUMDEE! The DUMDEE of the day. Remember, friends, if you want to donate to the show, you can do so at the correct views at hotmail.com through PayPal. Every penny you give to me goes towards a better show, guys. I am going to go ahead and bring this down. Make sure you hit subscribe. That helps a lot. Hitting like, you know what? That helps too. Indeed. All right. Come on. Don't freeze up on me. Newsweek's Kurt Eichenwald insulted Mary Tyler Moore on the day that she died. This has been sitting in my email for about a month, and I just couldn't get rid of it. Leftist crank made fun of Moore's appearance. It hasn't been a hard stick for a while to Mary Tyler Moore. When I was a kid, I wanted to do that. Now, I get it. It was a joke, and it's pretty crappy, and it's worth the DUMDEE of the day. News senior writer Kurt Eichenwald stoked outrage when he insulted actress Mary Tyler Moore on the day that she died. Again, Mary Tyler Moore was somebody who made a TV show that glamorized divorce for the country. So I'm iffy on her a bit myself. She was a great actress. She did definitely glamorize divorce throughout her life. Shortly after Tyler's death, it was announced Eichenwald also writes for Vanity Fair, no surprise there, tweeted, I told you what he tweeted. The tweet was subsequently deleted, but the internet never forgets. Other users responded with a mixture of shock and bafflement. Terrible post, just terrible. Please remove this. No need to slam her, blah, 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 blah. Another Twitter responded, her own edition. Kurt, I fixed this for you. And there's a little bit of a picture that came. I'll show you on screen share. It'll come up here. Eichenwald has made a name for himself over recent weeks after a series of bizarre incidents, including one where he claimed a Twitter user caused him to have an epileptic fit after sending a GIF image. Well, you know, I've had friends. This is a tribute to her, so I won't say something dumb. That's the revenge tweet they sent him. You can see it on FactCam. I have a friend that can't come to passing time shows because she has epilepsy. And she's been to our shows with sunglasses on before. And she'll have like something, because people don't know, it's not that if you just catch a second of it, you just can't look at the strobe. So she'll sit there with her eyes closed when she's come to the shows. Done it for years. Dated a member of the band ever so briefly. You don't play video games. You don't go to raves. You don't open GIFs. That might be blinking. And now that you've told everybody this, of course, everyone in the world is going to send him every disco light that comes over the internet. So he's looking to be a victim by even mentioning this. But he tweeted that Donald Trump had been institutionalized in the early 1990s before subsequently claiming that the tweets were a series of jokes intended to be a signal of the source to talk to him. So in other words, if you lie about Donald Trump, then of course he'll be more willing to talk to you. Do you see what the DUMDEE of the day is for? I'm sure you do, friends. Thank you for listening. It's Sam IB signing off, reminding you to donate at the correct views at hotmail.com. Patreon down in the description. And thanks. Hit share, hit subscribe, hit like. And remember, look out the Conservative Daily Post. I am posting there daily. That's my job. See ya.